I thought you've been telling your truth, which is often a pack of lies, from the moment you abandoned this country.
It was awful. It was terrible. It was horrible.
Everybody who works for her quits. Everybody says she's a bully.
She can't do anything else. She wasn't a great actress. She was crappy royal.
She's obsessed with her own ego.
They're just whining millennial windbags.
She's crying for sympathy, playing the victim.
Oh, God, you wouldn't know the truth if it hit you around the back of your head.
Oh, how lovely!
Meghan Markle just told the world to tell the truth on her latest podcast. Rumor has it Trey Parker and Matt Stone heard it, laughed, and turned the line into their sharpest punchline yet.
She's a malignant narcissist who is a truly terrible person.
With a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
After taking a break from taking a break, Meghan Markle is back.
No, the world's biggest victims right now are the Duke and Duchess of Netflix. And don't take my word for it.
According to insiders in 2 animation houses, South Park's upcoming DEI special now includes a brand new scene spoofing Meghan's on-air demand that people tell the truth about her. Writers allegedly recut the parody hospital sequence, adding a megaphone-wielding cartoon Duchess who storms the set screaming, "Tell the truth," only to have the crew unfurl a mile-long scroll of her own contradictions.
Today, Harry and Meghan torched what little was left of their relationship with the royal family and what little was left, frankly, of their own reputations.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore.
This gruesome twosome only survived by cashing in on what's left of their royal status now.
Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid and then so are like journalists.
Nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves.
Paramount is keeping scripts locked, but staff leaks claim the so-called truth rant landed in the storyboard within 3 hours of the podcast clip surfacing, and that a production assistant taped the moment Parker yelled, "Print it. This is episode Kryptonite." One source says the rewrite was stamped in red ink under the heading "Bombshell Ad," then couriered to a second animation team on the east side of Los Angeles for overnight finishing touches. Another whispers, the sound department layered an extra chorus of royal trumpets under the yell, just to be cheeky.
We want privacy! We want privacy!
This is all fake.
We want privacy! We want privacy! We want privacy!
She's drunk on her own ego.
We want privacy! We want privacy! We want...
Meanwhile, an unverified email thread from the legal desk allegedly calls the new cut fair use dynamite and warns executives to expect incoming paper from Montecito. Early Thursday morning, a lighting tester at the studio claims he glimpsed a placeholder gag that no one in the room could decipher. Parker reportedly smiled and said, "Let them figure it out on premiere night." If the rumors hold, Meghan's single sentence just gifted South Park its next viral spine, and the creators one more secret joke only they can explain. What exactly is hidden in that final shot? Insiders swear nobody outside the writer's room has cracked it. Yet, hours after that red ink directive, Studio B morphed into a fluorescent bunker, pizza boxes stacked like sandbags, energy drink cans rattling under wheeled chairs, and an open Google Doc labeled Truth Bomb Alt B glowing on every monitor. Animators mutter that the file arrived from Parker's laptop at 1:17 a.m., tagged urgent, no revisions. Unverified Slack messages show a note reading, "Sweeten the prince's vowels, make the embarrassment land." By 2 o'clock, sound editors were sifting old interview clips to tweak cartoon Harry's cadence, allegedly pitching his bewildered "what?" half an octave higher for maximum cringe.
So let me start with you, sir. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
One compositor swears the background team layered Easter eggs into the hospital corridor, blink and miss posters titled "Fact Check Station" and "Spare Books for Sale." Around 3:30, a production assistant says a courier in a navy hoodie delivered a sealed envelope stamped "Confidential Legal Clearance." Inside, a short memo reportedly declared the satire constitutionally bulletproof, but flagged a single risk. Meghan might argue the megaphone gag depicts emotional distress. The fix? Add a therapist cameo offering cartoon Meghan a mindfulness pamphlet which Parker greenlit with a chuckle, perfect, free wellness content. Just before dawn, colorists locked the new scene, and someone hit render while Siri blared a victory playlist. At first light, a junior coordinator escorted 2 temporary staffers, hired for overnight in-between work, to the parking lot, confiscating rough-cut thumb drives on the way out. One of those freelancers later posted a cryptic tweet, quickly deleted, hinting that the mysterious final gag involves a royal signature no one's seen in decades. Minutes later, his account went private. By 8 o'clock, the studio foyer smelled of cold pepperoni and burnt GPU fans, yet an email pinged every inbox. Review cut now live. Link expires in 4 hours. A senior producer claims Meghan's Los Angeles communications director accessed the link at 8:14 and exited 6 minutes later, visibly shaken.
Well, as the caring, sharing Mrs. Sussex reflects on almost being recognised for her, and again I quote, work to advance community well-being and expand opportunity. Whatever the hell that means.
Rumor has it she fired off a text to Montecito reading, "You will not believe the scroll." What exactly did she see in those 6 minutes that turned a seasoned PR pro chalk white? Crew members just shrug, point at the locked server room, and whisper that a second, even harsher alt ending still lurks on the drive, waiting. While the animators toasted their overnight triumph with stale donuts, Montecito thundered awake to the phrase, "Megaphone Meghan clogging private group chats." Sources close to the estate claim an emergency Zoom lit up at 9 sharp, Harry still in gym shorts, Meghan flanked by 2 attorneys and a brand strategist clutching color-coded cue cards. First agenda line, truth scene fallout. One lawyer reportedly summarized the leak in 60 seconds, ending with, "They flipped your demand into a gag about hypocritical narratives." Meghan, insiders allege, inhaled, pinched the bridge of her nose, and answered, "File every possible cease and desist today." But the Los Angeles litigator on screen shook his head. Parody is ironclad, he reminded them, and any legal swing could be animated into next week's teaser. A senior advisor suggested a counter-podcast episode titled The Actual Truth, featuring vetted experts and heartfelt archival clips. Harry, sources whisper, nodded vigorously until a crisis PR consultant warned that replaying old statements could spotlight prior inconsistencies. "They will cross-reference everything," the consultant sighed. Tension spiked when a junior aide floated a nuclear option. Preempt the episode by releasing uncut backstage footage of the pregnancy video shoot to prove authenticity.
This woman is a born manipulator.
She kind of sold her soul to the devil.
We have to get jobs. I have to start auditioning again.
You were on the very famous show Suits. More popular in the States than even Friends, you told us.
Yeah.
Harry allegedly blanched, recalling the harsh studio lighting and multiple takes. Meghan murmured, "That reel stays buried." Minutes later, phones chimed. An anonymous email with a single screenshot of the animated scroll zoomed on bullet point 7, private birth plan inconsistencies. Nobody spoke. Finally, Meghan reportedly broke the silence. "They want to drag us back to that?" Rumor has it Harry paced off camera, muttering about déjà vu. Strategists then proposed a softer play, flood social feeds with upbeat family clips to shift the algorithm away from satire chatter. A social media lead countered that the twerking reel already harvested low-grade engagement and might feed South Park's writers even more material. The debate spiraled until the Montecito house manager entered, whispering that paparazzi drones were circling the property, searching for reaction shots. Meghan closed her laptop with a snap. According to one staffer, she turned to Harry and said, "If they want the truth, maybe we should give them one they can't twist." No one knows what that means, yet. At Paramount's mid-morning war room, the marketing slate flickered to a new slide titled Truth Serum Weekend. Executives, insiders claim, smelled an even bigger audience pull once news of Montecito's panic leaked. A data analyst presented overnight sentiment graphs. Every tweet pairing, #TellTheTruth with South Park, spiked engagement by nearly 50% compared with last month's privacy tour cycle. "Outrage is rocket fuel," she grinned, recommending a 3-pronged tease, a 10-second TikTok of cartoon Harry juggling shifting truth scrolls, a cryptic Instagram story featuring only the megaphone emoji, and a limited 48-hour merch drop of Truth is Relative mugs.
So you hate journalists? That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist.
Is she ever going to get to the point where she literally looks in the mirror and goes, "Nobody's interested in my jam or my life, nobody likes me, shut the hell up"?
Legal flagged no issues, reminding the room that satire merchandise historically sells out. Yet, a sponsorship liaison cited fresh jitters. One eco-brand partner worried the hospital parody might collide with its maternal health campaign. The EVP of content allegedly shrugged, replying, "Satire isn't sanitized," and greenlit the push. Meanwhile, Parker and Stone, unreachable by phone, sent a single Slack emoji, a winking face with a bandage, interpreted as "keep swinging." Back in California, a streaming competitor quietly pitched Harry's team on an exclusive reaction interview, promising sympathetic framing and a live fact-check ticker. An aide forwarded the offer to Montecito with the subject line, "soft landing," but insiders say Meghan dismissed it as feeding the beast. Across the Atlantic, palace staff reportedly drafted contingency remarks should journalists press William about truth bombs. One courtier groaned that any royal comment risks amplifying the skit, yet a junior official whispered that the king secretly finds the satire disturbingly accurate and may prefer silence to rescue attempts. By late afternoon, Paramount's social division scheduled the first teaser for Thursday at precisely 12 noon Eastern, prime scroll time. A designer added one final flourish, background laughter slowly morphing into a baby's cry. Executives applauded the meta sting. The clock is now ticking. If Montecito counters before Thursday, Paramount can splice fresh references into last-minute cut-downs. If they stay silent, the teaser drops unopposed. Insiders say Parker is already drafting a follow-up line in case Meghan's next move involves leaked medical records.
Their shows haven't been canceled yet. Meghan Markle has not been silenced in public life yet.
What new truth could possibly upstage that baby's cry? We may find out in hours. Inside a second-floor study draped with blackout curtains, Meghan reconvened what staff now whisper is the Truth Tribunal. The agenda had morphed from podcast spin to existential brand surgery, and every seat at the reclaimed oak table carried a color-coded risk dossier. First up, a former Netflix showrunner hired last month as a creative fixer floated a reverse documentary pitch. Film Meghan confronting every rumor head-on, fact-check style, then sell the exposé to a streamer hungry for scandal content. He cited the Selena and Beckham redemptions as proof audiences love mea culpas wrapped in glossy edits. A finance officer replied that distributors would demand full archival access, including raw pregnancy dance footage and email chains about Archie's birth timing. They will want everything, she stressed. Harry allegedly sighed, muttering that archival dives always resurface the uniform rows from his memoir. Meghan turned to her legal advisor, who warned that opening the vault could revive tabloid lawsuits they had quietly settled last winter under non-disclosure terms. Still, the showrunner argued, a brutal self-audit might undercut South Park's punchlines by beating them to the joke. Meghan paused, then asked, "Would I hold the megaphone?" The room fell silent. Minutes later, HR slid in a grim update. Two veteran staffers, one a crisis comms writer, the other the family videographer, had resigned at noon, forwarding exit memos that described unsustainable narrative pivots and mission drift. Harry stared at the ceiling while Meghan recalculated headcount aloud, concluding that a skeleton crew could still manage daily content drops if everyone doubled shifts.
Meghan thinks dignity is the name of the maid that cleans the upstairs bathroom.
She wants us to listen to her like she's a founder because she took all that money and launched her stupid-ass lifestyle brand with jam.
She wanted the crown, but didn't want to carry the weight.
Elsewhere, a junior social coordinator reported that 3 once-friendly mommy influencers had declined paid partnerships, claiming the truth rant felt weaponized and advising their agents to pause Sussex inquiries. A sponsorship. Deck showed projected as ever conversions down 30% week over week. The floral sprinkle supplier threatened to reclaim inventory if negative sentiment spread to wellness blogs. In response, Meghan floated a guerrilla plan: flood TikTok with unreleased feel-good daddy-daughter clips, overlay them with Lily's giggles, then push a soft launch of the long-teased rosé to redirect chatter from satire to summer sipping. Finance grimaced. The rosé shipment sits in a Napa warehouse still awaiting final labeling clearance. Then we leak tasting notes, Meghan insisted. Create buzz before bottles. An operations manager asked if Parker and Stone might spoof the rosé next. Meghan's jaw tightened. She stood, looked at Harry and said, "If they want the truth, we bottle our own version first." Outside, the gardener reported another drone buzzing the lemon groves. Inside, the strategist scribbled a stark equation on a whiteboard. Truth risk is greater than brand risk. No answer yet, but the rosé teaser now targets Friday dawn. Will fragrant notes of berry distractions smother cartoon fire, or ferment into the next satire ingredient? The taste test looms. Dusk fell over Montecito just as a second analytics alert flashed crimson. Engagement on Meghan's gushy Mother's Day reel still outpaced the brand new Father's Day montage by almost 4-1. A junior data scientist, voice quivering, explained that viewers rewatched the twerking pregnancy clip but skimmed the Harry tribute after 3 seconds.
She can't do anything else. She wasn't a great actress. She was crappy royal.
She's obsessed with her own ego.
She's crying for sympathy, playing the victim.
They're just whining millennial windbags.
Unverified but persistent whispers claimed South Park writers noticed the same asymmetry, reportedly recutting their hospital parody, so cartoon Meghan salutes her own bump while ignoring a blank-faced prince wheeling a clipboard. One Paramount. Staffer texted a Sussex aide a single line. Fatherhood gap equals comic gold. Inside the Truth Tribunal, panic ping-ponged across devices. Meghan's social lead argued the montage underperformed because captions stayed vague. Best guy lacked punch. A brand voice consultant suggested adding a heartfelt paragraph about Harry reading bedtime stories, then reposting. Another warned that editing after 24 hours reeks of metric obsession and hands trolls fresh ammo. Finance chimed in. Paid boosting could close the reach delta, but Instagram's algorithm might flag the sudden spend as manipulation and throttle organic discovery. Meghan tapped her phone, scrolled, and murmured that she never expected father-centric content to lag. According to a departing PR assistant's Slack leak, she added, "I gave them the family. Why is the truth not landing?" Harry, silent until then, cleared his throat. Insiders say he proposed a low-key fix. Release an unfiltered throwback photo of him teaching Archie to ride the bike, a moment he once lamented missing with Charles, to underscore his dad credentials. Legal frowned. That shot shows the Montecito driveway where paparazzi drones have mapped perimeter angles. Security suggested blurring the background, but creative retorted that authenticity vanishes once pixels smear. The meeting stalled until an outside crisis advisor dialed in with a curveball. Partner with a mental health charity for fathers, stage a live Q&A, and challenge Parker and Stone to join. Invite the enemy to the truth table, she said. Then you own the narrative either way. Meghan's eyes narrowed. One aide swears she whispered, that could flip the script. Yet risk notes stacked quickly. Live feeds invite hecklers. Any flub loops for memes? And South Park's duo might accept just to lampoon it later.
All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
Still, the charity angle could thaw influencer freeze-outs and nudge retail buyers hesitating over as ever's stalled restock. Meghan set a provisional date. 3 Thursdays from now, digital only pending sponsor interest. Harry nodded. First real smile in hours. Though sources allege he asked whether Charles might tune in anonymously. Silence. Outside, cicadas buzzed while security tracked another drone circling the citrus. Inside, the countdown to a live stream gamble began. Will a public fatherhood confession temper satire's sting, or spotlight the very gap cartoonists crave? The invite issues at dawn, truth or trap, the clicks will decide. Dawn broke with a fresh shockwave. Clips from Meghan's chat with the Good American founder leaked overnight. And the 3 words, tell the truth, rocketed to the top of entertainment chatter before coffee finished dripping in Los Angeles. Social strategists had banked on the full episode dropping quietly next week, but an anonymous production intern, unverified but widely suspected to be courting Sussex favor, sent the snippet to a gossip microblog at 2:40 a.m. Within hours, South Park meme pages were splicing the line onto old footage of Cartman screaming at Congress, and an entertainment lawyer inside Paramount allegedly pinged Parker and Stone with a note, gift delivered. By midday, rumor spread that the writers yanked their late-stage sound mix to punch up a scene where cartoon Meghan bursts into the delivery room, waving depositions and yelling her new mantra, while nurses project a rolling slideshow of her own. Disputed claims. No official confirmation, yet 2 junior animators posted cryptic emojis, a crown, a megaphone, a shrug, before deleting under obvious NDAs. Back in Montecito, the charity livestream proposal tilted on its axis. Brand guardians fretted the timing now looked reactive, not proactive, and a veteran broadcaster warned that any audience question starting with, tell the truth about, could spiral. Harry, whose private WhatsApps reveal a fear the phrase, might follow him like spare, urged postponement. Meghan bristled. Sources whisper, snapping that silence equals surrender. Legal drafted contingency talking points. Pivot to media literacy. Reframe truth as plural narratives. Avoid naming Parker or Stone. Yet messaging risk alarms flashed again.
It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
Hi, I'm Meghan Markle.
And I'm Harry.
And we're royally screwed.
Critics would claim she redefined truth the minute it pinched. PR floated a compromise: pre-record segments and air them live with a moderated chat. Authenticity watchdogs inside the room groaned. Meanwhile, sponsorship prospects flickered. One parenting app CEO loved the fatherhood focus, but balked after seeing mock-ups of South Park's rumored megaphone gag. Investor decks fear brands will be screen-grabbed beside cartoon ridicule. Finance calculated that forfeiting the sponsorship bump might widen June's cash shortfall. At 4:14 p.m., Meghan ended debate. Move forward. Full live. Keep the date. Harry exhaled, half relieved, half terrified. AIDS updated the crisis tracker, T-minus 19 days. If the line that was meant to resurrect credibility ends up airing opposite its own parody, will viewers applaud candor or replay satire on loop? The megaphone is primed. Destiny now hinges on who speaks louder. Hours after Meghan greenlit the live Truth stream, she slid a new reel onto Instagram, her delayed Father's Day tribute, and insiders swear the post triggered more boardroom groans than cheers. The montage ran sweet enough. Harry hoisting Archie on a bike, Lily toddling toward beach foam, grainy clips stitched to acoustic guitar. Yet eagle-eyed brand analysts clocked the timestamp. 3 in the afternoon Pacific, nearly 10 hours after Mother's Day content had blasted out at dawn. The caption, a bare bones, "The best happy Father's Day to our favorite guy," rang hollow beside May's lavish ode to motherhood. Social listening dashboards flashed the fallout. Sentiment on hashtags tied to fatherhood dipped from hopeful to skeptical within 40 minutes. Fans asking why the Duchess who champions family first barely mentioned the father of her children. Crisis comms drafted replies framing brevity as poetic restraint. Meghan vetoed them, arguing over-explaining looks defensive. She insisted the video speaks for itself. Unverified whispers from a Montecito gardener claim Harry muttered that the clip felt like proof of life, not love. The bigger jolt came when entertainment bloggers aligned the lateness with South Park's rumored rewrite. Word in animation circles is that Parker and Stone seized on the contrast, extending the megaphone scene so cartoon Meghan ridicules crew for missing her carefully curated fatherhood window before unveiling a tiny sign reading content clock.
She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant.
Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband.
The nearest thing Meghan Markle ever had to a billion-dollar idea was marrying a prince.
Paramount declines comment, but 2 freelance sound editors posted cryptic tweets about chasing timestamps and the new midnight rule before locking their accounts. If the parody drops with that gag intact, brand strategists fear every future Sussex upload will be timestamp meme bait. Behind closed doors, Archewell Finance recalculated risk. Projected revenue from next quarter's as ever relaunch depends on feel-good family branding. Negative fatherhood optics could shave 20% off the optimistic funnel. One senior advisor floated pushing the product drop until autumn to let the narrative cool. Meghan objected. Waiting looks weak and seasonal jam targets summer brunch tables. She reminded the room that truth-telling means consistency. Another aide whispered that consistency also means posting at breakfast, not tea time. The silence that followed lasted 11 seconds. Long enough, one attendee said, to hear the distant Pacific and wonder whose tide would hit first, South Park's or Meghan's. Either swell could swamp the next launch, and the moon is rolling toward full. While Montecito debated jam versus timing, London's own truthquake rumbled through the palace corridors. Courtiers, still raw from last year's privacy tour spoof, received discreet briefings on South Park's alleged megaphone add-on. One junior equerry leaked that the clip features a cartoon king staring at a television sighing, "Tell the truth, dear, about the dress, the nurse, the bike helmet." The line, though fleeting, revives memories of the bridesmaid fitting fiasco and those contested texts about Charlotte's ill-fated frock. Royal aides, mindful of 75% public support for the Waleses, worry that rehashing Dressgate could reopen questions about whether Meghan really made a 3-year-old cry. Palace media chiefs weighed issuing a no comment, then binned the idea. Silence, they concluded, lets the scene pass as harmless satire. But silence is not neutrality, and Sussex supporters already spin it as tacit admission the firm fears the episode's impact.
A Californian former cable actress pathetically attempting to upstage a centuries-old institution that Princes Andrew and Harry accepted acts with restraint and dignity.
Across the Atlantic, Meghan's old Suits clip where she jokes, "I was such a fraud" about fibbing her way into the union, has resurfaced. racking up 2 million fresh views. Digital forensics consultants hired by Archewell warned that if South Park stitches that line into the DEI special, viewers could mistake genuine archive for animated fiction, blurring fact-checking lines. A proposed pre-air infographic clarifying Meghan earned her SAG card legitimately stalled when lawyers noted she admitted otherwise on camera. One advisor groaned, "You cannot fact-check your own punchline." Meanwhile, Spotify alumni whisper Emma Grady's podcast booking was a deliberate shield. Surround Meghan with entrepreneurs respected for transparency, let borrowed credibility counter fraud chatter. Trouble is, advanced snippets reveal grid-prodding Meghan on designing a narrative, reinforcing the very theme South Park is sharpening. Paramount marketing brass, delighted, have allegedly scheduled teaser billboards showing only a giant speech bubble that reads, "Tell the truth." If Meghan sues, the art director jokes, they will simply add a winking megaphone. Back in Montecito, night fell on a war room still split between delay and defy. An aide refreshed trending pages. Fatherhood #sentiment down another 5 points. Suits fraud clip now topping the algorithm. At 11:30 p.m., Meghan asked for quiet, stared at her phone and whispered, "Maybe the truth needs new packaging." No one dared ask what that meant. The full moon crested the ocean, and the room waited to learn whether new packaging implied a legal filing, a surprise live stream, or a last-minute rebrand that might sacrifice more than jam jars. Sunrise found Meghan pacing the terrace, phone camera trained on dawn-pink clouds, rehearsing takes for a sudden Truth Talk live stream. Insiders say she envisions a split-screen town hall, one box for her, one for anyone brave enough, from Paramount to join live. Advisors plead that inviting Trey Parker and Matt Stone to spar in real time is dynamite near dry brush. One misphrased sentence could become the episode's cold open. Yet Meghan keeps looping the same line, "If they want truth, let's give it oxygen," as if repetition can will the plan safe. Harry, jet-lagged from a Wales to California dash, mutters that public showdowns mean discovery subpoenas. She counters that silence means an animated forever record. By 8 o'clock, the couple still has no consensus and no cease and desist on file. Paramount, meanwhile, locks the DEI special's master reel, then leaks a grinning update. A post-credits sting now shows the cartoon Duchess yelling, "Tell the truth," so loudly the speech bubble pops. The creative team crows that the finale plays even stronger if Meghan sues or streams. In Hollywood vernacular, they now see her potential live response not as a threat, but free viral marketing, a turbocharger. For global streaming numbers, critics already nicknamed the Markle multiplier. Tech staff at Archewell scrambled to stress test servers, fearing a crash if millions join a surprise broadcast. Finance warns that premium bandwidth for a 60-minute stream could burn through half the quarter's PR budget. A new crisis deck titled Truth Gambit, Go or No lists red flag scenarios, platform outage, unvetted audience trolls, South Park lifting audio within fair use seconds. On page 10, a single sentence glows red. Should the microphone be passed to Harry? Staff unanimously mark no. By noon, Montecito Birdsong competes with distant lawnmowers, and the Duchess must decide. The legal timer ticks. Once the episode drops, injunction chances vaporize. Once her live stream ends, any stumble belongs to meme eternity. Either she gambles on raw vulnerability, or she swallows the urge and lets the cartoon speak unanswered. Harry rubs his temples, recalls a veteran friend's advice. Sometimes you win by not stepping onto the field, and wonders if that wisdom still applies when the stadium is already chanting your name. So now the spotlight swings to you. Should Meghan hit go live and face the satire head on, or let South Park's newest megaphone moment echo without reply? Drop your verdict below. Tap subscribe and stay tuned for the next twist. You won't believe what's coming next.